Now I think it's better. Hi, hi, hi. What's up? Hello. Difference between metrics organization. ठीक है. Next is roles and responsibilities of project manager. Man, back to school. भाई किसी को अगर ये ढंग से पता है कि भाई मैं अगर इंटरव्यू में पूछ लिया तो ये सारे पॉइंट्स मैं भूलूँ ना. इफ़ यू नो एनी वे सो दैट एनी वे दैट आई कैन रिमेंबर दिस फॉर इंटरव्यू, प्लीज़ कमेंट, लेट मी नो कि भाई ये याद कैसे रखना है. रट्टा तो मैं मार रहा हूँ अभी. प्रोजेक्ट प्लानिंग, स्कोप मैनेजमेंट, बजट मैनेजमेंट, शेड्यूल मैनेजमेंट. ठीक है. प्रोजेक्ट प्लानिंग, ऑफ कोर्स प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजर है तो प्लानिंग तो ही देखेगा ही. स्कोप मैनेजमेंट, व्हाट इज स्कोप मैनेजमेंट? व्हाट इज स्कोप मैनेजमेंट? इसको हम लिख लेते हैं, नोट्स बना लेते हैं यार. प्रोजेक्ट प्लानिंग, स्कोप मैनेजमेंट, budget management, schedule management, risk management, stakeholder communication, team management, quality assurance, change management, delivery, customer satisfaction. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 11 points हमको याद रखने हैं. Spaniel? Yo, no, no, bro, no, 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 no. My friend with I stream with is speaks Espanol, but I'm like trying to learn. I love the language, but I can't speak. I'm so sorry, bro. Thank you so much for visiting. Um, Risk management, stakeholder communication, team management, quality assurance, change management, delivery, customer satisfaction, um, scope management. Plan, scope, budget, schedule. Plan, scope, budget, schedule comes in planning. Planning, project planning. नाइस. प्लानिंग में इसमें अगर हम इसको डिवाइड कर दें तो इसमें 3 पार्ट बनते हैं। सो पहला बनता है हमारा प्लान। फर्स्ट पार्ट इज प्लान, प्लान वाले पार्ट्स। उसके अंदर आ जाते हैं हमारा प्रोजेक्ट प्लानिंग। थैंक यू सो मच ब्रो, थैंक यू सो मच। आई विल। नो, नो इंटेंडो, नो इंटेंडो। I love Spanish, but definitely someday I will learn it. No Nintendo. Okay, wait. Let me check the pronunciation. Ado.
The phrase no entiendo, Spanish for I don't understand.
No entiendo. No entiendo. Tiendo. Thank you so much, bro. Thank you so much. Atiedo. No atiedo. No atiedo. No atiedo. Cool. I will. I will, bro. Um. So under no atiedo. No atiedo. So under plan, we have four things: project planning, first, second is scope management. Scope management is also a part of plan. Like third is budget, because when we are planning for project, we need to have a clear estimate of budget. And schedule. These four will come under planning. Second will come under manage, like things we have to manage. We'll have scheduled risk, schedule risk, sorry, risk, stakeholder communication, team management, and quality assurance and change management. These five would come under manage, like manage people, problem, or quality. So, risk management, stakeholder communication, team management, quality assurance, and change management will come under manage. These things we have to manage, like um, whatever the problem is, whatever the risk can be, how we can mitigate the risk. So, these five things. Yeah, bro. I did study in like local university. That's in India. It's called Kalgotia. Very sort of famous in a funny way here. So I'm planning for as for from past 1 year I was not working, and now I'm again trying for a job. So I'm just preparing for it, and I thought that I can ask people to help me prepare, and I'm a bit scared too. Hi Pawan, how are you, bro? So schedule, after that risk management, stakeholder communication, team management, quality assurance, change management. These are all the management parts, right? And then comes delivery, last delivery. Once the project is done, we have to deliver the project and check if all the required things are delivered. So Customer satisfaction would be great if we deliver everything he asked. And so customer satisfaction is the last part, which comes with delivery of a project. So we have in total 11, 4 in plan, 5 in manage, and 2 in delivery. Cool. So I'll just repeat it once again. Project planning, scope management, budget management, and schedule management comes under plan part, and second comes in manage part. We have to manage risk management, like manage risk, which is risk management. Stakeholder communication, we have to talk to the stakeholders to understand the requirement, to work on the project, what things they want, how they want, and what can be the changes, um, what attributes they want in a project. It depends like what project we are working on. Then comes the team management. I have to assign the team for particular task who's good at it, so that the and what should be the strength of team, the minimum required people to complete the project, and the hours they need to work on. Wow, that's big. I think I'm so sorry, bro. Like it's just like a paper, or whatever we do in university, you can do it anywhere. But it's a good thing that and that's a good thing that you're from Rajasthan. I'm also from, I love Rajasthan. I've traveled across the state, and I think we have met before. Like I used to stream game, and you came to my stream before. Thank you so much, bro. Money laundering cases are good, but I think nice, nice, cool, cool. Um, I'm actually very shocked. Like money laundering cases, um, that's a big thing. Not a cup of my tea. Like not a tea, or whatever is saying is. Anyways, let's move to the next question. Team management, quality assurance, change management, delivery, customer satisfaction. These 11 things: plan, manage, delivery. Cool. Project manager versus project sponsor. That's a good question. Like, what's the difference between project manager and a project sponsor? Project sponsor, project sponsor owns the business case, provides funding, removes, sorry, project sponsor of course, removes executive blockers, final approval. And the project manager, he is someone who executes the project, manages the team, tracks the timeline, handles the risk, and delivers the project. Ooh, exactly the same, bro. But sometimes they ask these small questions that people should know about. And it's not just sponsor thing, they also help if there's a blockage, some blockage in between the project sponsor is the one who'll handle the blockage, right, and who'll give the final approval. Whatever, like let's say there's a thing which I want to do in particular project, I want to introduce some feature or anything, so I have to go to the project sponsor who's, sponsoring it. If there's a obstacle in between, then also I have to go to project sponsor, so that it doesn't hamper. Project sponsor is the owner that needs, he needs all the information, all the progress report, right, and he'll take care of the blockage part. That's, these two things are done by him. Executes project, manages team, tracks timeline, handles risk, and delivers project. Project sponsor doesn't handle risk, project manager does. Delivery of the project, manager does. And tracking of the timeline, manager does. Cool. Should every project have a PM? No, of course not. Because I know small internal projects may not require one. Large projects involving multiple teams, budgets, customers, dependencies should definitely have a PM. Because see, um, if I have to just design a simple website, I don't need a project manager for that, right? But when I have to design an application where multiple uh, features are there, where multiple departments would be involved, let's say Amazon, there are multiple partners which are involved in that particular app, like the finance part, the operational part, right, and the customer facing interface. Many things are involved in this one project, and when I'm building that project, the different team would be working on different part of that particular project. Exactly. Only the big projects where multiple departments or teams are involved, I think that's when we need project manager. Should every project have a PM? No. So if they ask me, I just say no. How have you worked with PMO? Oh, talk about governance. Example, PMO helped standardize reporting. PMO helped standardize reporting, project health dashboards, rate logs, milestone tracking, governance meetings, compliance, and documentation. Okay. Sorry, bro. How to remember this? So, so it's very simple. PMO, like how have you worked with PMO, right? So if I say PMO, it's project management officer, I think. Project management office, right? PMO helps in, so we can say like PGTR, RRCR, which is planning and governance, um, planning and governance, PG, tracking, reporting, risk, risk and issue management, coordination in between teams. So that is PGTRRCR. So a PMO ensures projects are delivered consistently and successfully across the organization. Its responsibilities include establishing project governance and standards, tracking project progress, preparing management reports and dashboards, managing risks and issues, coordinating stakeholders and project team, overseeing resources and portfolio management, and ensuring project align with business objectives. Difference between PM and PMO. Nice. That's a good question. I think PM delivers a project. PMO supports and governs multiple projects. He is not working. It's like not another set of managers. He is looking that the process has been followed, how he can improve the process, right? And he makes the process, and project manager follows that process, right? Like if I am delivering a project, so like what should be the initial part where I have to start the uh, initialize the project, right? And what should be the steps, the first step, the second step, the third step. PMO will define that. PMO will define the journey of the project, and project manager will just learn about that journey and try to, uh, make a flow in boundaries. Like let's say PMO is a pipe, and project manager is the one take cares that it doesn't overflow, right? That's the best I can right now come up with. So owns the project execution. Project manager will be owning the project execution, focuses on delivery. He'll be focusing on delivery and handles daily project work, day to day work. Whereas PMO will be supporting, governing multiple projects, supports multiple project managers. He'll be supporting project managers. And why is that so? And why, bro? I know it's tiring, bro. It's tiring. Hi, Saksham. How are you, bro? Defines, so PMO also defines standards and the governance part. Focuses on visibility, reporting, and compliance. Provides oversight and portfolio management. Cool. PMO. Now I think I understand the difference between PM and PMO. comes project initiation. What is SOW? Statement of work. Cool. This document is really important whenever we start a project. I worked on some. I have worked on some. So, project initiation. What is SOW? Statement of work contains scope, deliverables, timelines, pricing, assumptions, acceptance criteria, and responsibilities. Everything has been discussed in the early stage of project, when the project haven't even started yet, right? So I'll be, talking to a client. I'll be understanding their requirement. What is the scope, what project, what things they want, what are their requirements, right? What are their needs, what are their requirements, and what are their wants. These all three are different things. um, Needs are something like you can't avoid them. That is something I really need, right? Those features or anything, I need that particular part, and I can't miss out, right? Then comes the wants part, like, okay, I have a particular thing, but if it can be in red in color, like let's say I need a car is a need, but I need a Ferrari, that's a want. That's the main difference. So I need to understand what are the requirements of a stakeholder, what are the needs, and what are the wants. Needs will always come first, and wants, like, if whatever we can do, like try to meet it, but sometimes we can't. With needs we can't compromise. Deliverables are things will be decided in advance, that once the project is completed, what things you'll be delivering me, right? So those things, like if I have completed a car, let's say I'm working on a car. The scope is like they want a premium SUV, right? And they'll be defining the features. Now at the end they'll be expecting, I want a car which have a 7-seater air conditioned car with all security systems. So that's been divided, that you are gonna deliver me a car with a 7-seater and safety, right? So though that particular thing will become deliverables. So that particular project, when I'm delivering, everything should be covered back then and there. Then comes the timeline. Timeline is like, what the how the project will progress. क्या हुआ ये वो? Scope, deliverables, timeline, pricing, assumptions, acceptance criteria, and responsibilities. That's scope, deliverables, timeline, pricing, assumption, acceptance criteria. Scope, deliverables, timeline, pricing, assumption, acceptance criteria, responsibilities. Scope, deliverables, timeline, pricing, assumptions, acceptance criteria, responsibilities. STD. Oh, STD पार. STD पार हम लोग इस तरीके से याद रख सकते हैं. STD पार, like SOW contains STD par, which is scope, deliverables, SDT, timeline, par, PAAR, pricing, assumption, acceptance, responsibilities. Pricing, assumption, acceptance, responsibilities. Pricing, assumption, acceptance, responsibilities. Cool. Project character. authorizes project. Let's take a assumption. What would be the assumptions? Nice question, bro. Um, as an example, how to put it? Like, okay, I'm going for a. I am a project owner now. I have decided that I want to build a food delivery app, right? So when I'm talking to a project management on the statement of SOW, I have given him scope that I want an application where the person can order, right, um, everything. So there are few assumptions which I have to assign, like the order of the order, like how it will be delivered, the project. Dude, man, did you say that you didn't go to college? Dude, why don't like, you're fucking genius, bro. Seriously, you're genius. Nice, nice, nice. And I'm shocked now. Like, that's what I need, bro. Like, sometimes I'm trying to understand what can be the assumptions, and you came up with a perfect explanation for it. Thank you so much. I let me note down this thing. Man, California is expensive though. Yes. But yes, you are intelligent and you don't need that particular thing. I think you can crack this interview better than me. Um, I'm actually from marketing background. I just want to switch, so I'm preparing for project management. Um, and yes, that's the perfect way to put it. Like, go right and not accounting for potential losses. Yes, thank you so much. I think if that came, I have noted this down. That's how I'm gonna answer this question. Project character authorizes the project, contains objectives, stakeholders, high level scope, budget, risk, PM authority. Authorizes the project, contains okay. So there's a project character which I have never heard of, and this is the first time I'm learning about it. Like, authorizes the project, contains objectives, stakeholders, cool, like project character, objectives, stakeholder, high level scope. What is high level scope? Anyways, budget, risk, PM authority, high level scope. I have to mark it to understand it later. Okay, budget, risk, PM authority contains cool. Um, I think high level scope can be answered in a way where they really don't care how we achieve it, but it's like that's particular thing we need and that's it. They really don't care like how we are doing it, they just care what are we doing. That's it. SOW, what client wants, character, internal authorization to execute. SOW, what client wants. Nice, nice. SOW is like for clients. Character is equal to internal authorization to execute. Cool. How does a project start? First, the client thinks that okay, I need to build something. That's how it starts with some idea, and then he goes to TK. I have a budget. Let's do it. Then he tells his requirements. I want these particular things, client requirements. Um, then comes the business discussion. Then a proposal is yeah, bro. Like if you are working with a MNC, that's how it goes because the budget is very big for you know these projects it goes in millions and sometimes billions, right? But it's not that difficult. You just know that okay, if you go to buy something, right, and you simply think that okay, I have to cook something, what things I need, so you just go to the shopkeeper, you tell him okay, I need these things, right? So it's a discussion. Okay, he'll say okay, I don't have these particular brands but I have alternatives. So that comes first comes the requirement which I have. I go to a shop, I tell him my requirements, he says okay, these are not the things. Yeah, exactly. It's more of a common sense, right? It's more of a common sense. Then as a company I'll give him a proposal like okay, I'll do this work for you, right? And we'll charge you a lump sum amount of some amount, like from the minimum and the maximum, right? And the once the project proposal is signed by the client, then SOW is developed. After that, once SOW is developed, the stakeholders will give approval. That's you know precisely what they want, right? Then the project charter is created for internal team. The work is divided. That document is floated in between teams, and then comes the knockoff meeting. I don't know what they do in knockoff meeting, but and then comes the planning part where they start planning which work will do first, second, and what will be the timeline of each task. So they run sprints and then they design sprints accordingly and assign team on those particular tasks. Wow, this is really important. Fixed price versus time material. Fixed price versus time material is like sometimes the scope is really fixed. Okay, I'll do this for you, but the price is fixed like a product, right? Scope fixed, budget fixed, vendor risk high, right? They can't ask for any change in between. Yeah, bro, because Once they start working, let's say, um, let's say you are as a client today, you want a Ferrari, you came to me, everything is signed, and then you say, okay, now I need a SUV. But I've started building Ferrari, I've started working on that, I've started structuring it, I have invested in my resources, right? So that can't be done. That's why they have fixed project, like, okay, this is fixed, we'll give you an application, right? And we'll do the following changes, and then it's your responsibility, right? In this, the risk is high, sometimes you can't make those changes on your own. The best is time and material, in which you decide, okay, a mechanic worked on my car for 1 hour, I'll just pay for 1 hour. A project manager worked for 3 hours, I'll just pay for 3 hours. They pay for the timeline and the resources that worked, like how many hours they worked. So it does have a flexible scope. Client pays for actual effort, better for evolving requirements. But fixed price projects are actually beneficial for the firm, though they don't get good rating for it. But yes, risk reserve versus contingency reserve. Let's take a 2 minute break. If it's a fixed price and the project takes longer than expected, does the company eat the cost for time, labor if they go over budget? Yes, yes. But mostly it doesn't happen. Think of it like, I'm building an application, right? I have constructed an application in which I have to just make minor changes according to the client's requirement. Very minor changes, like setting up the logo. So what I do, I have created one e-commerce application or e-commerce website. Everything's done. I don't have to rewrite the code, or I don't have to, I just have to design it. So I'll just ask you, okay, pay me a fixed price and I'll give it to you. Right? Exactly the same thing happens with a car. When you go to buy a car, it's a fixed price, because that particular small project, have they have designed it and they are producing it in, uh, producing it for mass. Similarly, fixed projects is sort of produced for mass. Once done, they just have to redesign it according to client's requirement. And that's how a fixed project can bring more profit to a company, because they don't have to rewrite the code again and again. I think, yeah. I think they do, because the organizations are taking huge risk in you know many scenarios. um, Organization must have a huge amount of reserve. Even if they fail to deliver one project, they have to pay it like 2 or 3 times. Sometimes it's a loss making deal for a company who's developing a project, so they have to count that risk as well. So the risk is, where the risk is high, of course the profit is also high. Contingency plan, reserve, contingency reserve, known risk, management reserve, unknown risk. Agile versus waterfall versus Scrum. Yes, yes, bro. It's sort of a backup plan. Like, let's say I have asked for a car which is the fastest one, right? And you are the person who's paying to build that project, and I have to build that particular car which is the fastest one, right? That's the main requirement. But what if we are not able to deliver it? Because that is a challenge sometimes you can't beat, right? There are few things right now you can't beat, maybe in future, so you give it a try. But if that's not met, what can be the second thing which can be done? Like, okay, not the fastest car, but even if the car meets in the top 3, that is the backup plan. Let me also google it for better understanding. But yes. um, Yes, exactly. That is also like it's known and it's an identified risk. Yeah, bro, it's more of a common sense. Like, um, even you, like you and me, if we work on marketing, you have observed these things in day to day life. But when we are working for organization, right, and the huge budget is involved, we just try to take it more, how to put it, um, documented, so that we don't forget. Because if we miss a step, we might lose, tons of money. So if you're just preparing for project management role, right, you need to understand, like, there are stakeholders, they have a requirement, you just go and talk to them, okay, what do you want, then you have to get it done from the team. That's the simplest way to understand project management, right? For that, you need to be very actively, you need to be observant, that who, but which guy, which person, or which resource is good at, right? Like, let's say someone is good at Python, someone is good at developing websites. So I need to keep these in mind, that that particular guy have strong points, and what all he can do in your project. Risk reserve, um, contingency reserve, known risk, management reserve, unknown risk. Agile versus waterfall versus Scrum. I know about waterfall, which is sort of fixed. Everything is fixed in it. You can't change anything. First step, then second step, then third step, and the fourth step. Agile and Scrum is somewhat. Agile was developed for a projects, like if in between they want to go in different direction, so it's easier for them to change the whole direction in between. Scrum is developed from Agile. Whew. What's this sprint? Customer feedback every sprint? No, customer doesn't feedback in. Customer doesn't have any feedback in sprints. Let's say, okay, let's say I'm developing an food delivery app again, right? If I'm developing a food delivery app, I have decided the homepage would be something. If I'm developing a food delivery app, right? So I have divided. Okay, first the structure will be decided, and then the design would be decided, and then the compilation of that particular the payment gateway would be integrated, right? So it's a mixture of many features, right? Now sprints is something I divide that part in sprints. First, I'll design the home page, right? While designing the home page in this particular sprint, I've divided the work. Okay, further divided, like first we'll design the page, right? In this particular sprint, once the designing is done, and then we'll go to then we'll go to the next part, right? The prototype is developed first, let's say. After the prototype, the design is decided. That was the first sprint. The second sprint is now we have to design it in application, right? CSS format. So it will be assigned it to a designer. Second, a developer who will be coding for that particular application, designing all the functional part of that particular app or page. Then comes the second, that will be the second sprint, right? I have to, like, let's say in Facebook or Instagram, once the story was introduced, right? So when I'm developing that, adding that particular feature into the application, that can be considered as a sprint. I'm very bad at explanation, but I hope you did get it. Agile versus waterfall versus Scrum. Cool, bro. It's 12 a.m. Oh, I'll just sleep, or I think I'll take a break, and we'll be meeting very soon. Thank you so much, 209. Yes, every step is like, they take it very slowly, because if they miss some steps, they can't go back. It'll be very difficult to, Okay, bro, I'll see you very soon. I think I'll be streaming a game. Um, it's 12 a.m. approximately. Time to sleep. Thank you so much, bro. Thank you for joining me. I loved it. See you tomorrow.